Hi everybody, it is Catherine here from Continue the Magic, and this is your news update for the week of May 25th. So this week we're talking about two specific things. We're going to talk about the new Mandalorian overlay for Smugglers Run and what that means for that attraction. And we're also going to talk about a new patent that has come out for Universal for a new attraction feature. So let's get started. First, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. It really helps me out at the channel, and to make sure that you never miss a news update or a ride-through video. So let's dig right into the Mandalorian and Grogu overlay of Smugglers Run. So obviously this is coinciding with the release of the new film, which seems to be doing well so far in theaters. There's been a huge fan base that has grown around these two characters, so it's wonderful to see that beyond the character kind of meet and greet that's happened in the park, that we're getting more of a presence here with this overlay of Smugglers Run. So the cool thing here is that they have not only revamped the storyline, but they've also revamped the actual roles that you can play within this attraction. So for the pilots, obviously you still have your left and right and your up and down. You get a little bit more say over where you go in this one. So before you could kind of go left and right, and it didn't really change your storyline much. Now they're gonna have a lot more control of, there's going to be different pathways that they can take so that you can kind of change up your experience depending on where you choose to go. So whether you want to go down through a canyon, up over a cliff, go through some streetways, you have a lot more opportunity to kind of guide your destiny there as the pilot. They also have a new boost button that they can use as well. So moving to the gunners section, they've now got two different modes for this. So if you don't want to have to worry about aiming, you have a littler kid or someone who's not really into video games that doesn't really want to take on kind of that responsibility, there is kind of an auto target option now. So you can choose that. If you just want to be able to hit the button, it's going to auto aim for you and it's going to hit those targets. If you do still want to do the manual mode, that is absolutely an option to you. And with the improvement to the graphics that they've done with the Unreal Engine, you're going to start seeing if you miss that TIE fighter, it's going to start hitting the canyon walls and you're going to see those walls kind of collapse around you. So again, you get a lot more impact on the story of whether you're hitting things, whether you're missing things, what that changes to the environment. Now the biggest change is in the engineer role. So this one has always been fairly passive. Basically, as things light up, you hit the button to repair your ship, and that is all you really got to do. It also meant that you spent a lot of time looking at the side panel and missing the view up in front of you. So they've added a lot more to this. So for one, this is the first time that they've ever done kind of a choose your own adventure in this attraction. So you're going to have 3 different locations that you can choose from after your starting position, and we'll get into more details on this plot line there. But that choice is going to go to the engineers. So they're going to be able to pick which location you're going to. So already you get a lot more say in where this story is going. But on top of that, you're now also in charge of picking up the actual cargo. So you'll be able to do a tractor beam to kind of pull the cargo into your ship. So again, a little bit more engaging. And then the funnest part is that you have a direct line to Grogu. So there's going to be a screen there. You're going to be able to see Grogu on the screen. You're going to be able to call him into the attraction with you and get some engagement there. So really huge upgrade for the engineers on this one. It'll be interesting to see how this changes where people want to sit. Typically, if you're doing the single riders line, you almost always end up in that engineer role because they're just kind of backfilling those positions. But with this change, you might get a lot more people wanting that role. So I'm wondering if that'll change. My guess is you're going to end up with a lot more single rider lines ending up in the gunner section because this seems to have the least kind of exciting impact on the journey at this point. So as far as the actual storyline goes, we're still working with Hondo here, but we're teaming up with the Mandalorian and Grogu, so we're not only going after cargo anymore, but we're going after bounties. So we're looking for ex-Imperial officers, we're assisting the Mandalorian and Grogu with the hopes that we can collect some cargo along the way. So with this, you're going to start at Galaxy's Edge, so Black Spire Outpost, obviously, and you're going to go straight to Tatooine. So all of them are going to start with this Tatooine kind of canyon run sequence, going to be chasing down these ex-Imperial officers, and then they are going to scatter to different areas around the universe. So this is when you get those branching paths. So you're going to have 3 different options here. So one of these that I'm really excited about is the Endor option. So for this one, you're actually going to be kind of dodging in and out of the remains of that destroyed Death Star, which I think is a super cool option. Another option is you get to go to Coruscant. This one's going to be more going through the like high-tech city and dodging through the buildings there in a chase. And the last one is going to Bespin to have a TIE fighter engagement there. So some 3 different options. This gives a lot more replayability to this attraction. This combined with the new upgraded roles and the upgraded visuals, I think this is going to be a really cool overlay for this. Hopefully it sticks around for a while, and perhaps they even use this to upgrade the old version as well to have a little bit more options there as well, rather than just returning back to that standard playthrough. If you did like Chewie mode, back when that was an option, this has been replaced. You now have a Grogu mode. So again, you have to have your gunners do a specific sequence to engage that, but then rather than having Hondo talk over your trip, you're going to have Grogu's kind of coos and gurgles coming in over the speakers there. So again, a cool little throw in there if you're interested. Okay, so now let's jump over to Universal and the new patent that they've done. So this is called a system and method for an onboard animated figure in a ride environment. So this is actually a little bit more descriptive than we typically get with these patent titles. So obviously what they're trying to do is they are trying to put a animated figure or an animatronic that will actually go on your ride vehicle. So there's a few images here of what it looks like. What they're showing here is kind of a frog coming up the bottom of a truck and moving its way up. So this is a really interesting one, that it's something that would actually potentially jump on and then engage with your vehicle. They're doing this through a variety of magnets and vacuum systems to get it to kind of grab onto the vehicle and be able to move fluidly. So interesting concept for sure. Where they're going to use it, how they're going to use it, that is really what I want to see here. So there's a lot of possibilities. I've seen some rumors around how this might be incorporated into the dark universe, that something could come and like grab onto your vehicle, crawl up your vehicle, something like that. I think there's a lot of other possibilities here as well. If you think of the potential Zelda expansion, obviously there are a lot of creatures in that world, some of them even kind of frog-like, that might make sense that they would come and engage with your vehicle. Another option also is, if we are talking about that new Pokemon potential rumor, that could be a really interesting one too, that you're kind of surrounded by these Pokemon creatures and that one might actually board your vehicle. Some really cool possibilities here. So it would be interesting to see how this one works. It is ambitious for sure to have a kind of a moving vehicle and then have something physically moving on top of that. I love that they're ambitious. Now, just because they made the patent doesn't mean that there is an immediate plan. Sometimes they just have a cool idea, but it is nice to see that they really are thinking, what is next? What is the next like cool option for a new ride attraction? How do we make this more engaging? How do we up our game? So they really are investing here. I think there's some really interesting possibilities with this one, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. So with that, when this video comes out, the Cool Kids of Summer will have officially started. So obviously, Mandalorian's going to be there. We've got the new Puppets attraction. The Animation Courtyard has reopened to an extent. Obviously, what we're really waiting for is for that animation tour. We're going to have to wait a little longer for that one. But at least the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, that is going to be up and running again. And then the other exciting one is obviously Bluey coming to the Animal Kingdom. So they are expecting that this one's going to be fairly popular, and especially since you do need that train ride to get there. It looks like they're going to be doing a virtual queue system for Bluey. So make sure that you keep that in mind, that you're not just hopping on a train and hoping to go and see that show, get that engagement. It should be a fun play area, great for the smaller kids. Obviously they have the new animals there as well, the new Australian kind of based animals. So that's exciting to see, but yes, do make sure that you know about that virtual queue and you get that if your kids are dying to see Bluey. So a nice quick update for this week. Hopefully you get some chance to go out and see all these new openings at the Cool Kids of Summer. But with that, that is your news update, and we will see you next time.